Hey everybody, I think this is number 8. Molly is making a sign in the shape of a trapezoid. One base is 18 inches and the other is 30 inches. How high must she make the sign so that its area is 504 square inches? So we could draw a picture of it that might help some of you. They're telling us that we have one base that's 18 and one that's 30. And what they want to know is they want to know what's the distance of the height. How long is this line here that I drew down the middle of it? But we do know the area. We know the area is this number right here. So that's not the height. That's the number that we're going to substitute in the formula. We're going to put it right here. Put it underneath the A. Why? Because A represents area, and that's what this is. It tells you its area, plus it's in square inches. Let's put the other values where they belong. We do know the parallel sides, so that's what the B1 and the B2 stand for. So one of them is 18, and the other one is 30. And the height, we don't know, right? How high? That's what we're trying to find. So we're going to use the variable h. To solve this equation, the first step will be to add these two numbers, the 18 plus 30. They're in parentheses. We need to add that. 18 plus 30 would give us 48. So we've just done this. Now we have to copy everything that's left. So what's left? We have this. Copy it on your paper. Don't skip this step. Copy the half. Know that when there's no operation between a number, even if it's a fraction, and a set of parentheses, you're supposed to know that means multiply. And we're trying to figure out the height. All right, so the next step, we have to simplify this. So how do we simplify that? What if we have a calculator? How would we do it? We shouldn't need a calculator, but let's say you did have a calculator and you're not good with your computations. If you're taking half of a number, I want to remind everybody that taking half of something is the same as dividing it by 2. So we could just go ahead and take 48 and divide that by 2 and get the answer that way, which you can see is 24. Let's write the 24 down. And let's also write the other goodies that are left. So we have height. We have to bring that down. Remember, we're multiplying. And we have the 504. Now, I do want to just review quickly before we move on. If you didn't have a calculator and you had to take half of 48, so let's just put that as a little side note. So if you had to take half of 48, let's just review how do you do the standard algorithm for that. There's 2 ways to do it. So if we had to do the standard algorithm, we could go across and just do 1 times 48 is 48. 2 times 1 is 2. And you see how in the end we're ending up with that 48 divided by 2. So you would have to just do the long division for that if you didn't know it. And it would go in, we already know the answer, it's 2. It goes in twice. We would have nothing left over. We would bring down the 8. And 2 would go into 8 4 times. And it would work out evenly. But we already knew it was 24 because we did it on a calculator. Now, some of you may know about the idea of reduce before you multiply. Did you know you can reduce before you even come to this point? We would divide both of these by 2. That would be the greatest common factor of these two. 2 divided by 2 would be 1. And this divided by 2, we have it right here already, is 24. So that's really the reduced version of this, is it not? Because if we divided by 2 after instead of before, we'd get the same thing, would we not? So divide by 2 before or divide by 2 after, you're still going to get 24 divided by 1, which would still be equal to 24. So that's just a quick review on how do you deal with the algorithm of multiplying fractions. We're still not finished with the problem, so let's leave room here to do that. This means that 24 times some number that we don't know would equal 504. When you're solving equations, you need to apply the inverse operation. What's the opposite of multiply a variable by 24? Well, it would be to divide by 24. And we show division by drawing that fraction bar. And the number that goes underneath the fraction bar on both sides is whatever number is next to the variable, which we call the coefficient, by the way. We would write that here, and then we would also write it right here. If we did 24 divided by 24, we would get 1. And 1 times h is h. Let's bring the h down. So the only thing left we have to do is to take this number and divide it by this number. So let's make sure we know. I'm not going to reveal the answer because you're going to do that. But we're going to take this number, 5 04, 504, divided by this number, 24, and then you'll hit the equal sign, and whatever you get will be your answer. Good luck finishing that up.